I'm in. All right. Okay. Didn't expect it to work. Chris was able to pull himself away from important business and slip in this little assistance time for me. Woo! Hi, everybody. My name is Keith Quinn. I go by Sannio on the forums and such. And Chris Atos Spears is not here today. He has important business, like I just said, that he had to take care of. So I'm filling in. And as I have been, I actually like these times because it forces me to keep coming back to Ulfheim, even though it's a slow burn improvement of the scene or reworking of the scene. You guys get to see like pretty much like so far it's like I don't know, a huge percentage of it. Thanks, John Marcus, for 100 bits. Actually, let me double check to make sure you can hear me. John Marcus for. Okay, that works. Great. So. What we're looking at right now on the screen is the old version of Ulfheim. And this is, I guess, the 5th time coming back to show you some of the changes. And so let's get rid of that. I'm going to switch to what I've been working on. For a second, there we go. So this is the newer version. Oh, will be the new version. It's not in yet. A little secret, when I was working on it on my own, I actually I spent a long time working on it without checking stuff into our repository of files, and it's kind of dangerous, but this is actually checked in now. You can't see it, but it's checked in, so removed some of the danger. So I'll review some of the stuff I've been talking about. Aloha, Lance the Lancer main. I see. Every once in a while I'm going to check on the chat, but I'm pretty bad about that, so keep that in mind, please, as you chime in with comments. My mic isn't working very well. Low volume and tinny, says Owen Moon. Is that different than every other time? Because my volume is turned up all the way for the mic broadcast. I don't really have many settings allowed by the mic. Hold on, let me double check some of this. Audio. I don't really see anything. I can make some fiddle with it, but it would require a restart. So, oh, you are on the wrong speakers. Oh, great. Okay. And Venetrix says the mic is fine. That's good. I was worried because I think someone said last time, maybe it was you as well, but someone said last time something was odd with the mic, and I did turn it up. All right, so just the summary we had again, the little walkthrough, and if you haven't been here for a while, then you might see some changes with some of the terrain. So this will be the awesome open area. Isn't it awesome looking? This will be anyone can come here and just start fighting stuff. But the goal of this place is to work your way through to the. So this is the home of our barbarians in our game, and our barbarians are. They do a lot of wood. They live in trees sometimes. There's a lot of bones on things. There's it's not super obvious in all places, but they're kind of cannibalistic. If you've ever saw the 13th Warrior, you can think about those savage barbarians that they fought as the main enemy, a little bit like those guys. So anyway, so you'll go through this gate. There'll be a wave battle here in the middle. There'll be some tents and things set up, as you can see. And then when that's done, when that wave battle's done, this door will open and you can come up here. I'll point out that this is still blockout. Nothing's done yet. Even when I kind of think I'm done, I'm going to pass it off to Travis, who's List Rostov, and he will make some changes. It's probably likely he doesn't make as much changes because obviously he's got his own work to do. But if there's anything like really off, he'll step in, or he'll give me advice on how to fix it, and then I'll do the heavy lifting as it should, because I don't want to stick him with my problems. So we were kind of working on the treehouse thing last couple times. So you'll come in here, and this is just an open fighting area. Presumably you're fighting. I don't know why you wouldn't be fighting. Just kind of cruise around the edge. I still need to work on the rock wall around the outer edge. I'm not going to worry about that right now. I'm still really worrying about the central content. So you can see I have like kind of pathways now to sort of indicate which way to go, and like the common travel areas. I'll prove some of the stuff going on. And you can see the goal is, it's not a full-on snow, it's probably the snow has been melting. Maybe it was a quick snow recently, and that's why all the grass isn't dead. Some of it is. It probably snows frequently. If you've been to North Palatus area, then you know that's in the northern part of our world, and we try to, in northern part of Novia, we try to make sure that there's a better sense that it's in the north. Oh, you know what? I keep forgetting to remove these. Let's do this now. I want to remove that because I didn't like how when you come up, I kind of felt I was blocked here. And I can't change this. These posts right here on the bridge are part of the bridge, so I can't change that. Alright, so we will be working through here as a player, going up the ladder, going across here, across this bridge. And down here, boop. And then through here, there'd be some sort of special doorway here that would open up. I don't have that in yet. And then across this bridge, I kind of want you not to be able to go up these steep walls, because I feel that would be skipping things. I don't want you to skip certain areas of content. So you go through here. This outer area of the village is an open area, just open fighting. You can just fight typical bad guys that respawn. And then when you get to the inner area, nicer buildings, and you gotta get an extra sense that even though they're barbarians, they actually have some fantastic woodworking skills, and they make their own weapons and houses and stuff. It's all good. So there'd be a wave battle in here, the second wave battle. And when this is done, as everyone knows, I haven't really done anything at all with this area yet, and this would be, as you can see by the little label down there, Grand Hall. And then you would fight come in here with the final wave battle with the boss. Mr. Way says Grandis Colossus 2, a little bit. I love the layout and the design of Grandis Colossus. So there's a little bit of that sense in here. But, so here's a big difference. And this is kind of what I'm going to work on a little bit today, I think. So I kind of got like some basic structures of some of the areas, and I'm feeling pretty good about some of this. In here, kind of need to work on the valley down here a little bit more. But what I have, let's see, what I have is these awesome things right here. And each one of these special gimmicks comes in threes. So right here, we're looking at this kettle. 1, 2, 3 kettles. There's these cages. 1, 2, 3 cages. Looking at these wolf statues, carvings. 1, 2, 3 of them. So there are 6 sets, and there will be 3 sections. So this is a wave battle area, but this will be the first section for the item number 1 of each of the sets. And down here will be the second section, item number 2. And then the outer area will be the third section, item number 3. So the important thing about these sets is they connect to a virtue. And depending upon which set you commit to, you will do 2 things. So here's, and I'm going to explain it by way of example. So we saw the cages down there. In each of the three cages is something, I can't remember what the final name is. It's like abused wolf or something like that, mistreated wolf, something like that. So if you don't save those wolves, in the final battle, there will be abused wolves that are part of the battle that will fight you. If you do save the wolves, and by saving one wolf, you can still save the other two, so all three wolves. When all three wolves are saved, that means there's none of those wolves in the final battle. So you are changing the face of the final battle by your actions. How to count to 1, 2, 3 with Sannio. Yep. I don't really want to be on 3 because then I start to mess up the numbers. Anyway, so you save the wolves, you've changed the enemies in the final battle. And then also, when the battle is complete, I will give you a burst of positive or negative virtue depending upon the side activity you did. So saving the wolves is the compassionate thing. So we have 3 virtues in our game, by the way, the 3 principles for the Ultima fans who don't know that we have these 3 things. And it's truth and love and courage. And there are ways as you adventure where you can get positive and negative versions of each. So you get positive truth or negative truth, positive courage, negative courage, positive love, negative love. So by doing this compassionate thing of saving the wolves, that's a positive love experience. You don't get the positive love until you actually beat the bad guy, and then boop, you get a little burst of positive love. And part of the reason why I want to do this is because some players, we don't have a great spread of all the virtue opportunities out there. We have some like that are common, like you can get some negative truth when you steal things. You can get some positive truth, positive love when you ask an NPC their name. You get a lot of courage when you kill defeat the Kabbalists in the siege and otherwise. So this actually puts a little bit of the control, gives a little control to the players. If they want, say, like negative courage, there's a gimmick in here that will allow you to sort of trigger that. So if you like going through here and you want your courage to sort of like take a nosedive into the negatives, sharp negatives, then you can start pursuing that opportunity. Let me see, check the chat thing right here. You don't remember any houses in Grandis Colossus? Well, Grandis Colossus had caves. Grandis had a little bit of the this sort of situation. You know, they had some caves on the entry area. Oh. So you might also remember if you've been here before. Hold on a second. Hero likes to come check things out when he hears me talking. That's my dog, Hero. And probably he's going to start barking at some point because he doesn't like when I talk too much and it's not all about paying attention to him. And then, of course, he comes over here knowing when I'm talking because he's trained me that he gets some of these. There you go. You want that? I tried to give him a bunch before to sort of relax him, give him some attention. But I don't know. We'll see. So that's the premise of what's going on. What I want to do, I think now, is I want to go down here and I want to start grabbing these things and start putting them up there. Not that they will be in their final spots, but I want, if I'm starting to like construct the play space, I want to make sure that these things are placed around in the right rooms. So let me make sure I'm grabbing the right thing right here. Oh, that's all 3. I don't want all 3. That's the one I want. Okay, we'll just move the items. We're not going to move the result things. So number 1 will be in here somewhere. Number 2 will be here somewhere. And number 3 will be here somewhere. This thing just popped up in the front. I don't know if I'm going to put it in the front or the back, or I'm just putting it somewhere. And once I get all the pieces up top, then I will probably start trying to arrange them so that they are not necessarily always in the same order. For example, I don't want to have oh, correct the method. Hey, I'm glad you at the stream. Thanks for coming. Good day to you. And I'm just describing how I'm putting these pieces up. So anyway, so we might have the positive love first in one of the 3 sections, and maybe the positive love activity is almost last in the next one. So I don't want for example, positive love to always be first in all 3 sections. So I'm just gotta get them here. Whoops. Oh, hold on a second. Let's back up a little bit. I want that and this. And this. This and this and this and this. Oops. I've got a lot of pieces. So what's going to go on with this one? It's hard to see with all the purple. But that's the wolf. That's the locked cage door. There's a key that will be somewhere in this similar areas. When the door opens, the wolf will go to this. Let's see that purple marker right there. That's his waypoint path. He will start on that path. He'll run to the end. He'll probably be way longer. And then when he gets to the end, he'll sort of bounce back and forth. We don't have an awesome way to despawn NPCs in all cases. So I am comfortable with having the wolf to sort of like run out to some sort of whatever he thinks is a safe spot. Alright, so that's them. I'm also going to point out that we moved 2 already, and then there's 3 more. So the default, if you don't do any of these side missions, that's fine. You don't have to. I don't want you to feel like you missed out on something. So actually the default, if you take it as is, that's positive courage. All the other ones are the other 5 remaining virtue, positive and negative. I'll point out that the raffle thing is Chris's. There's no raffle going on today. Sorry about that. Chris isn't here today. He couldn't make it. Chris Atos Spears. He's the one who does the raffle thing. So sorry about that if you had your heart set on the raffle thing, but hopefully you get something out of learning about Ulfheim that you will enjoy. So I'm going to pull pieces of this. So the wolf I mentioned is like a compassionate thing. This thing right here, you're basically going to poison this if you want to sort of change your face. Not really a good thing. This is you want to destroy their special totem thing. I'll also have messages that'll pop up, by the way, that will kind of give you a hint that that you're on a certain path. Like if you would have freed the wolves, I don't want you to not know that you are affecting the game space. So it's a little gamey to have like a message pop up like this has happened, but that's what's gonna happen. These are whoops, letters that will give you a tactical advantage, I guess. That's how they affect the final battle. And this is destroying their art. I kind of don't like using the urn, the vase. So I might change that to something else that's a little bit more interesting. But for now, it still works. If I go to change it, it'll be an easy change, and we'll have to do a lot of rework, and it should still pretty much take up the same place when I'm done. Alright. So we're doing a lot over here, so let's place these ones first. Let me save first before we go on. Save early and save often. It doesn't matter what you're working in. Save early and save often. I don't know if I mentioned this last time, but a long time ago I used to work at Kinko's, and people would work on things like in Microsoft Word or something, and sometimes they'd print it and didn't save it, and they'd have to do it again, or the computer would crash and then they'd lose it. So it was rough to tell people that some of these things don't automatically save. Some programs do have back then they had an okay attempt at recovering things. It wasn't great. Most of the time you're out of luck. Once in a while though, you got super lucky. Some people just like really lucked out. Alright, so these purple boxes that are a little distracting, what they are is the trigger volumes, or interaction volumes. So when a player is in that interaction volume, then things can happen. Alright, so the biggest thing is the cage, so we're gonna do the cage parts first. We are here. So I just gotta figure out where I want to put this cage up here. So if we're walking around, this is a path to go up there. This is kind of a blank, nice big blank spot right there, so we're going to keep that in mind. I almost like the idea of a cage being off the road like these little houses are. And maybe I could put one of the little houses over it as well. So maybe there's a little road over here. And if you remember last time I did some effort in making some of these areas bumpy, but I'm probably going to flatten out some of them right now. Grimace also advises that save often and make redundant backups too. Yes. I also remember, like, and I guess I still do this, like if I'm working with something like an image like in Photoshop, I will save like so many multiple versions of the image. I might like number it or give it a date or both. And of course when the hard drive, my big hard drive was 500 megabytes, saving multiple images was kind of rough. Ridiculous. Alright, anyway. So does this wolf have I think he's got no roof. I think he's going to just be out there. And I will do a path to him. But first, am I clicking him? I'm not clicking him. I'm going to flatten his space a little bit. I'm looking for a set height. So I'll pick one of these heights and just kind of flatten it. And then I will smooth a little bit. Getting the main layout of everything is the most important part. So since everything's sort of like kind of where it needs to be already with the trees and these sheds, and of course the biggest trees and their shape on the bottom, that's the most important part. So now I need to close up some of these things. Distracting. Alright, I'm just going to wiggle it so it's at the proper height. And I'm going to take the wolf. So you see that little line as I rotate the spawner? That little line is an indicator as to which the facing of the wolf as it spawns, or whatever the creature is that spawns. I like to have something spawn facing the way that most likely direction a player is or would be coming from. So if the wolf's just sort of sitting in here, he might just sort of end up facing that way. He might actually walk back and forth. Alright, so when he is out, he will start on this path. And then I have to figure out if he's running off to like a safe spot, where is he going to run to? Is he going to run to like an edge behind a tree? He can actually kind of run pretty far. Is he going to run like down here? So all this ground area is going to have bad guys. I'm going to maybe assume he goes behind this tree, let's say. And he'll just sort of hang out there. That'll be a safe spot. So I only have 3 points right here, but I'm going to add a whole bunch more. So that's going to be his final spot. And now in my waypoint manager, I'm just going to add several more points. And so what he does, he'll go from point to point if he engages in combat, which I'm making these guys friendly, I think, so I think they can get into combat. But this is the way I sort of control him going around things. So he doesn't sort of just make a beeline straight to that area. It makes a more interesting walking space. He'll sort of like go around this way and then go to his area. Needs a few fallen logs around. Oh yeah. So one of the problems, I'm definitely gonna put fallen logs in now. There's a lot of like little things I want to put. Maybe some like cut trunks. But so one of the things about finding a fallen log is I don't know. We get items from like all over the place. So we make some. We have like different workers who have made some items like tree chunks, and sometimes we get it from the Unity store, and it could be like any number of people that we buy from through the Unity store. So I don't know the name offhand to fallen chunks. I could look for tree, could look for trunk. It could have some weird abbreviation name that who knows. But we're gonna look for some. So let's go here. Let's just start with trunk. So we have this. I'm gonna move this over a bit. we look just for prefabs. Prefabs, the objects, basically the objects you see in the scene. There's a little bit more to it than that, but and we can actually do this, so we actually see. So this trunks out. So easy find. I will also go like this. These are seats. So the thing I just brought in is this is a 3-seat bench, basically. You can see the trunk. Let me click off for a second. So there's the trunk, the visual of the trunk with the extra branch out the back. And then the 3 points in the front, that's kind of like where your sitting marker is. And once you sit, you actually swing to one of these 3 cubes, depending upon which one you chose. Pretty simple. But you know, let me check something. That's a little hard to look up some stuff. Okay. I wanted to see if there was a snow version of this trunk. Probably not. Or maybe there's an alternative that we can use. You know, like that. It's actually a cliff. So I can look for snow. I can look for wood. And these are the wood piece map. It looks all like it's planks. Yeah. Roof. Woods. Yeah, none of it's an actual tree. Alright, so that's okay. As I said, that I don't really need to worry about it so much. Worry about the snow so much, because it's all kind of melting. So where would they have one of those up here? So I can go like this, put it here. I don't like that because I think NPCs can't get through there. I want to make sure that they have space. I kind of like a sit-down area next to this crossroads, I guess. I like to keep things flat where you have to sit. So let's flatten it a little bit just to remove any sort of weird potential problems. What do I do? That's there. And then take the texture a little bit. Actually, let's get remove some of the grass, because if people are sitting there really wouldn't be that much grass. Alright, so now people kind of walk up on there. There you go. Are there any public cache chests hidden in adventure scenes? Asked Grimace. I don't believe we put that anywhere. I think it's just for players. So Owen says, I know where there's somewhere north and west of Brit where there are lots of big stumps along with Cobalt buzzsaw machine. And Anpu Soda points out that that's South Boundless Forest. Yes, South Boundless Forest. That's where these big trees were originally from, and then I made a bunch of changes. My dog's probably about to bark. He's giving me the big eyes. Right? Right here? Wait for this. Maybe this too. Maybe you can get it. No, maybe not. I don't know why. He didn't go for the food, so I'm not really sure what he's up to. Let's get back to our wolf. So we have a certain gimmick where, so this path, it's not a one-way path by its nature. So when the creature gets to the end, he's actually going to go back to the beginning. But we do have a gimmick where he can actually hop from one path to another. So he'll get to this path, and then he'll hop to this other path right here. And I will give him some things to do. Oops. Here's something else we have with our waypoints. So like I said before, when I can turn a spawner to make sure that an NPC points a certain way. So if you look at this waypoint, it's got no special line, but once I start rotating it, it's a little hard to see, but that line came out. You see the line right there? Turn the lighting, maybe that'll help. Yeah, you see that line? So that'll be when an NPC gets to that, uses that waypoint, he will face that direction. So that little line, where we start using it, it means face that direction. So when Wolf gets the first one, or he gets to this, he will look out. He will be aware of his surroundings. Okay. And then, so just to skim over some of the things that we have, I can set the movement rate for a waypoint, like how fast is he going to go to get to that waypoint, and then when he gets there, how long is he going to hang out, and I can randomize the time he hangs out there. If he was a humanoid, like a human or an elf, then I can also make him do an emote, like we gaze or dust off or ponder, some of the things that you see NPCs doing randomly. So I want to make sure all these are set, so that's good. And then I'm going to make sure that all these work. Okay. Oh, whoop, I just screwed up something. These. So at the bottom, I think you can see it, at the bottom of the last waypoint on this straight line one, you can see it connects to my second waypoint. It's a waypoint link. That's how he jumps from one to the other. So that wolf is good. Once he escapes from the cage, he will run down that path. So now I want to fancy up his hangout area. So I'm going to get rid of the grass, because probably no grass where he's trampling. Probably get rid of this tree. I'll place it, but probably wouldn't be there. The tree I got there. And that's similar to the other one. Kind of don't like similar trees right next to each other, although I really shouldn't care about that. I'll leave that big tree like that. That works for me. We got a little tree somewhere. Something else I like to do is, I think I talked about last time, when there's a fork in the road, I kind of like to put like a tree or a rock or something, and yeah, definitely I like to put some rocks around here and there too. So if someone is walking on this path, the reason why there's no path right there is because it's a tree. And actually, I did a split right here because people walk that way. There's a split right there because people walk that way. And this guy doesn't necessarily walk this way. He walks this way because there are trees there. He just walks between trees. Small little thing. Probably obvious that most people do road building already. But if you're not into this stuff, that's the kind of thinking that happens. So someone asks if a player's client isn't there to render it, would it ever even happen? I think you're talking about the wolf. Like if the wolf starts running, and then you get too far away, what happens to the wolf when he's like halfway on his path? I think that's what you're asking. So if you're close enough, the wolf will just keep going. There's a certain distance where the wolf he'll just stop where he is. He's not going to do anything. An NPC's not going to do anything if you're too far away. He's not going to necessarily disappear, but he doesn't need to do his actions and take up CPUs or whatever. He's not going to emote. He's not going to walk. He's just going to just block in place. And then if you actually get way too far away, something we put in within maybe about a year ago, I'm not sure. If you're way too far away, he might actually despawn unless we put in some special mechanism to force him to stay in place. In this case, I might actually do that with this guy. And since you brought it up, prevent despawn. Click. Done. Okay. So there you go. Those guys they'll get to the end and then they'll stay there. So thank you for bringing that up to me because I didn't even think of that at the time when I set it up originally. All right. Crafty Method asks, is it possible for a dog to chase a bird, and how long did that go on? So the only way a dog would chase a bird, so we don't have any sort of like NPCs as pets of other NPCs gimmicks, so we can't sort of link them in the way you might be asking. For the dog to chase a bird, we don't really have birds. Let's say rabbit. For a dog to chase a rabbit, the dog needs to he'll only chase a faction for which he wants to chase. Let's say an enemy faction. Let's simplify it with that term. So if a dog sees an enemy faction, which is a rabbit, maybe, then he'll go to attack it, and the rabbit, if it's afraid, he'll try to run, but he'll probably die soon. Rabbits by default, I think, like are ignored by most creatures, humanoids in the game. Things like wolves will actually chase them down and eat them. If you have two similar toughness creatures, then maybe one's just sitting there minding his own business, and the other goes and attacks them. They'll just keep attacking them until one of the other is dead. So it's just normal combat situation, but NPC versus NPC. If there was a case where the target was faster than the assailant, then the assailant has a leash. And you can see when I click on like the wolf, they have these rings that come out, and I had one of the programmers put them in a long time ago to help me get a easy sense of certain ranges that NPCs have when I'm looking at them. So by default, if I set it right, so a wolf, that red range right there is the awareness or aggression range. Some of these guys are tighter than normal. So if you are within this red ring, or if something's within that red ring for this particular wolf, he will then start noticing you. Outside the ring, he doesn't care. If there's combat happening inside the yellow ring, that's the help ring, he may decide to come join in the combat. So they're pretty similar in almost all cases. So in this case, they're identical. Some cases the yellow ring, the help ring, is smaller than the red aggression ring. And then the next ring out is the white one. That's his wander radius. In the case of this wolf, it kind of really doesn't matter, so I just sort of left it at some normal one, I think. Because he's not going to really wander outside the cage, and then once he gets on the path, once he's allowed to jump on the path, he'll just stay on the path. So his wander is irrelevant. And then there's another ring, which is the one that's most relevant. You see this blue ring right there? I'm going to put my mouse over it. See this blue ring? It's pretty far. So that's his leash distance. So if an NPC gets too far from his original starting point, too far in this case being past the blue circle, once he hits that circle, he says, I'm too far from home, I give up on the fight, and I'm going to kind of make my way back to home. Maybe immediately, maybe he's going to run back, maybe he'll just sort of slowly wander back to like his wander radius, and then just hang out there. So that's how those dudes work. Where was I? Okay, I am doing some decorating. So a couple taps here and there. Okay, I'm going to say that it comes in this way. Something like that. Oh, let's do this thing. Some of you may remember that I like the idea of that's a little much, but that's okay. I like the idea of a path having a well-worn path having kind of a groove. And this is a little aggressive, but that's okay, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my smoothing tool and just kind of smooth it out so it's not so aggressive, which I was going to do anyway. So the fact that it's made a deep groove initially kind of doesn't matter. So it's a little hard to see, but I'm going to remove some of the grass from the path. Get some grass on that path. Smooth a little bit more. There you go. That's the wolf area right there. Then potentially we can just sort of swipe something, put next to it maybe. I don't know what this is supposed to be. Hopefully it doesn't break immediately by the wolf. But you know, maybe they maybe that's what they feed him or something. So the key is going to be somewhere. I don't know where. Someplace not too far. Like I don't want to like have it up here. Although maybe that's not that bad. I don't want to have it up here for sure because you're already sort of committed to going through the whole thing. I kind of want it nearby. And nearby kind of suggests to me that it's going to be one of these two things right here. Since this one's right next to it, let's just sort of say it's right here. I might move it later on. I reserve the right to move anything around if I don't like it. So we got two types of crates. We have breakable. It's also breakable. And then these are not breakable. You can see the reinforcement. So I don't want to put it on top of a breakable because if you break it and then the key just floats in the air, that's kind of weird. Now we also have these kegs. It's breakable, and with the metal reinforcement, not breakable. I like the idea of having it a little lower. Nudge that over a little bit. I screwed up something. Sometimes okay. So sometimes when I'm grabbing a prefab in this game, prefab, like I said before, is pretty much all the objects you see. Do it again. So the prefab, in this case, is an outer container, and then inside is the visual of the key. So I can move the key separately, but then if I go to grab the prefab, you can see the collision box right there, and so that they're not matched up anymore. So I keep accidentally clicking the interior item and not the parent item. I want to click the child, I want the parent. It holds the whole thing, container. The bucket, as we used to call back in the Dungeon Runners days. It's a bucket. So I just clicked on the key, or click on the crate. Click on the key. There you go. So I like to have it overlapping a little bit because if you look at the crate has actually really tight collision, so that's pretty nice. But no matter what, this key right here, there's at least a couple spots hanging over, and I know you'll be able to grab it. So Joe Jurdak says, don't forget the bears/wolves, cottons, and trees respawn. Ulfheim currently is one of the best spots for gathering. So I don't really want to remove anything that's there. Some of the things you're looking for may be behind some of the walls. Back up a little bit. I'm saving something right now, so it's kind of locked into this view. You don't see the little pop-up to say that remind me about saving stuff. So anyway, so back out here in this kind of very unfinished area, the wolves and the resources, they'll all be out here. Some will be inside, but a lot of stuff will be outside, and you won't really have to worry about it. Potentially some of the wolves, the tougher wolf or bear, might actually be inside the wall. So if you're looking for some high threat creature that might have been just randomly somewhere in the scene, it might actually be like up here in the treehouse area. I haven't like looked over all the little nitty-gritty details, but it all should work out. I don't want to. Well, first, I don't want to remake some stuff from scratch. So we have our resource node parent, and then all the different resources. They're all set up to it, and I don't want to remake that. I would just want to take the one that's there, and I'm going to find all the cotton and move it around to the space, and I want to find all the iron or whatever ore nodes, move those around and make them just there. I don't want to like remove any. There might be some small tweaks. Nothing should be painful. Alright, so that wolf was done. Let's go with this guy next. Actually, you know what? Let's do all the wolves first. Let's do it that way. We'll do that there last. Alright, so where would this wolf be? Kind of could be anywhere. Kind of like an open space right here. I could move that tree and put it there. Could be back there. I could move that tree. be between the houses. So it probably wouldn't be, conceptually, probably wouldn't be like right there right away. I think maybe this spot right here is good. Let me go back over here. Let me see what we got. I don't think he would really be in the back. Alright, so we're gonna go with this. Here. And cut against the wall. Actually, not kind of exactly against the wall. I don't want anyone getting stuck. You gotta be careful sometimes about having, if you're putting something next to something, such as this next to the wall, it should be next to the wall or a nice gap. Because when you start doing this, or even worse like this, is potentially a stuck spot right here. So this might be good. I don't want anyone to get stuck. Kind of don't like that tree right there. I guess I bring up stuck spots to you guys every once in a while. I don't want the tree in front, but I kind of don't mind on the side. Like that. Got to put my own rules. So trees have their own collisions, so I got to have that same sort of stuck spot mentality. Keep in mind. I don't mind the snow going up. I didn't like the flat area being too high, but I like the snow going up. I will do some flattening a little bit, but nothing too much. Just want to make sure it's not. Is that floating? It is floating. I don't know if you hear my dogs barking now. Grass. Let's remove some of the grass. Oh, I'm hitting the wrong thing. Keep hitting the wrong button. Oop, too much. Smooth that out right there. Awesome. I think that should kind of be snow right there. It's a little hard to paint some of the stuff with that big purple thing in the way. I can turn it off, but I swear too much for now. Alright. So this is 3. Like I mentioned before, I like them facing a certain way when you spawn, so we'll kind of face this road. Oops. Yeah, that's fine. Is there a projected completion for the modification? Nah, the the original projected completion was last release, but I keep getting pulled off to do other things, and it's taking me longer than I wanted. So as soon as it's ready, I'm trying not to like delay it too much. Then I forgot my pants. So where does when the wolf comes out of here? Where does he go? Does he go that way? Nah, I don't like that. Maybe this way? Maybe behind something? Back here, behind these trees. He was trying to get this way. Who's that? I think I need to plug that. Still not enough. I'll need to put something in there, big rock or something. So anyway, where does the wolf go? He's trapped in here no matter what. I'm gonna assume he goes back there. I think, even though it's by the entrance to the next section, I feel like this is the best spot to hide. I might have him like run around the back. Actually, I like that idea. Do that. So he's gonna come back here. That's his final patrol point. Yeah, like this. So that was his patrol point. Let me just do this over here. Oops. That's weird. Right, a couple more. He's going to do a little bit of that, what I mentioned before. He's going to kind of like look around the corner. Make sure no one's coming. Probably a little too much of it. So I'll also have to make sure that they don't really load up with other characters in this back area. The wolf should feel pretty safe. Alright, so the final target's okay. I don't really know how many points he'll need once he's out. I'm gonna have him go behind that. I kind of like to get him to a certain point. What I'm talking about is my waypoint target philosophies. So each waypoint on his path. Let me get some of these out of the way. So when he gets out of the cage, he goes here, and then where's he going to go? He goes here. I want to go around that left wall. Instead of going straight to it, I sort of have him go here, that point right there, that little sphere, and then he can kind of go there. But will he go like this? Well, not on his own. So I will put a point here, put a point here. I'm not going to put a point there. I need a whole bunch more though. Here. Something about putting extra points that's good is that sometimes the NPC has trouble and gets pulled off his waypoint, and then if he has to go back to his waypoint, we have a nice system where he will go to the pretty much the closest available waypoint to get back on track instead of like starting over. Okay, so he's going to be going back this way. So one thing I can't do is I can't test this out. Because that would kind of change the existing version of the scene. I don't want to do that. I just want to put everything in place. And then in the final release, once everything's in place, I will commit to the change and I'll do some last minute stuff. I'll rebake the nav mesh and have the team play through it a little bit and some other stuff like that. So another thing I could do is usually I only do it if there's multiple NPCs using the same path. Like you might see, I might have like like I don't know, say 7 random points in a camp, and then the bad guys in the camp, maybe 2 or 3 will share those waypoints. And I'm kind of crossing my fingers hoping that they don't walk on top of each other. But something I can do to help it is I can increase the arrival radius. So the NPC doesn't have to get to a single point. He just has to get, we can see now that the magenta ring, he just has to get to that ring from any direction, and then he's cool. And actually, it helps me see things a little bit better. So I'm actually going to do that back to the other one as well. Let me save this. What's up, hero? What's up, buddy? Sometimes he sits by the door or stands by the door, tries to get my attention. And I think it's just a normal get my attention thing. But once in a while, I don't know if he has to actually go out. Gotta go to the bathroom? Gotta go for a walk? No? He's just kind of looking at me like, it's like, don't you understand? So. Okay, stand by 1 second. I'll be right back. Alright, he does not have to go for a walk, so I don't have to pause. I'm done. Alright, so I got 2 wolves in place. And now where am I? I'll strike lion. Oh, here we go. So now I gotta put a wolf down here. And I really haven't done much down here, so it's actually good. Force me to do some of that. So let me think. This guy is kind of deep in. Let's say he's like a halfway in. This guy, sort of near the beginning of this section. So maybe the wolf in this case is near the back. Maybe this spot right here. And maybe I'll just sort of kind of put him out in the open. Sink it a little bit. So it's already kind of flat, but maybe too flat over here. Oops. Smooth this out too in a second. So it feels more natural this way. Too much. Of course, the smoothing will solve a lot of things. Yeah. Okay, put some of that kind of dirt that I had, the thing I'm using for dirt. Alongside some of that slightly snowy grass. And then a little bit of the slightly grassy snow. So where does this wolf go when he's free? 100 bits because Hero needs food badly. Yeah, that's true. I did. He's calm now. He just wanted 1 biscuit. And now he's like lying down right next to me. Need a paintbrush with wolf paw prints. Oh yeah, that'd be a good one. So the wolf that's in here, if he gets out, where does he go? Potentially this is open. So I don't know what's going on over here, but maybe he actually goes over here. Maybe he actually gets out if he can. If there's no errors. That'll happen. So I'll have to come back to this one and do some more stuff. Oops. So let's go back here. So the wolf, he's out, and then I'm going to say he kind of like hugs the wall a little bit. Be a little obscured, perhaps. So this might be a little weird because I got that tent right there. But maybe I'll move the tent down a little bit. I don't even know if the tent should be there. We'll see. Maybe this wolf is going to define what goes where. I need to do more stuff down here. I might have to do some more changing once because right now it's all flat. You can see it's all flat. I need to do some of that rumpling and such, like we see up here. It's more natural. And then the grass and extra trees and stuff. It's kind of good that I'm kind of doing this a little backwards, doing the wolf thing first. The dog, not long satisfied. Shh. I don't know why I say shh. He doesn't let's do it. Whoops. Thanks. Me, hero. You want? You just want attention? Dog attention coming up while I'm saving stuff. All right. So this is very rough because, like I said, we're gonna be reworking this down here, and then also we're going to do a lot out there. And so this line's a little zigzaggy. It might be too much. Potentially when I'm done, I might straighten it out a little bit. Mr. Zarinks, sorry, there's no raffle today. That's a Chris thing. It's not available right now. That's why I'm pitching in to help him. It's a Chris thing, though. Instead, I am here with my charming wit and insights to how we make, how we do the level design and world building here in Shroud the Avatar. In particular, Ulfheim is where I'm working. Alright, so the wolves are done. Let's go back here. What do we got next? Oh, I was going to do the this next. Oh, wait, the wolves are not done. Alright, we don't know what we're going to do with his key yet. He has a key. Okay. We'll just make sure it's out there for now. Actually, we'll float it. And then this guy. His key, so I don't mind making you go inside these houses for things. So potentially his key is in there. Who is in charge of this wolf? Alright. I think it's this person. So I'll put some like basic furniture here. Nothing too crazy. You know, it's a combat space, so I don't want to litter it up with all sorts of things that you screw up your movement. Oh, there's something else I wanted to do with these guys. Oh, I wanted to change their leashes. We talked about before about how if an animal or creature, NPC of any type, gets too far from its spawn point, basically, it hits its leash, which we can see by the blue lines, and then it goes back to home, the start. So the thing about these wolves is, or anything on a path is, we need to make sure the leash is big enough to accommodate his path. So, I'm pointing, you can't see my finger. So, I've selected the wolf spawner, and if you see where my mouse is right now, to the right, that's his target area. And the question is the blue circle currently around the wolf, does it still surround the target distance? And it does, so I don't need to change the wolf at all. I've already actually increased it to 100, so actually I can probably make it just 80. I like to make it as small as possible while still allowing for the activity to happen. So this wolf, oh, this wolf I didn't put in the right spot. So he is now in the right spot. I think he was a victim of one of my undo activities. So if I don't change his leash, then he's still covered. So he's great. I can leave it natural. I like to leave it as natural as possible as well. So the one on the ground, his leash does not at all reach to his target. Since he's like kind of friendly, it kind of really doesn't matter, but I'll overshoot it, so I'll make it 130. Shroud of the Cannibals. Maybe. Let me back up in the chat a little bit, see what you guys are talking about. This is when I go barefoot and massage the dog with my toes. Yeah, my dog doesn't go for that super much. He's okay with it. Will it be the same barbarian clan? I'm guessing they are not wolf clans since they are prison wolves. So we have NPCs at different challenge levels. We call them tiers. So that's like tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, 5, 10, 15. That's kind of like our bracketing system. When we named the barbarians, we didn't name them by region, we named them by tier. So like a tier 5 barbarian, the Ulf ones. So there's like Ulf Caller, Ulf Circer, whatever the third one was. And then there's bears and deer. So this will be multiple types. There will be the Ulf clan and the Bear clan and the Drak clan. Drak is like Drakvald in our game. It's kind of Germanish for dragon in Shroud of the Avatar. So there are dragon types. Let me see what else. Econdis or Econdis. It says some are cannibals or all, not sure. In my mind, they're all cannibals, and I'm the one who made them up, so I guess maybe that's canon now. So they don't necessarily all they're not all like savage, bloodthirsty people who will just want to eat you. They're not zombies from like the movies. You can actually, it's one or two that you can actually talk to and get like a quest from. In the South Boundless Forest is one you can talk to. So that they have a different way of life is different from your way of life. It doesn't mean they're just everything wrong with life. They have their own goals and mores and stuff. So, which includes and when I say cannibals, I will. I don't know that I've ever said this out loud before, but they don't eat other cannibals. So they will eat you outlanders, and they'll eat people from Xenos, or they can kind of tell that who's barbarians and who's not. So they won't eat each other. And if they're working with you, like I think it's Sigrun in South Boundless Forest, they will just let it go. There's no reason that they have to eat you right now, but they probably eat their enemies, to get their power, as a sign of respect. Maybe there's a bunch of reasons probably. But yeah. All right, so back to flying in here. So I just did leashes. All right, so the wolves are the block out for wolves is done. So now let me just close some of these things right here, so we can kind of start over. Okay. So now the cooking pot. It's another two-part thing. There's a cooking pot right here, and then this right here, which is a bag of rancid meat. And if you put the rancid meat in the cooking pot, then that's kind of how you poison them. So where is a cooking pot in here? I want it on ground level somewhere, and somewhere in the middle of something interesting. So we got the wolf over there already. Let's sort of like zigzag a little bit like you do with lug nuts on your car. So we're going to go over here. I'm going to put this here. And that'll, it's nice ventilation, kind of a easy space to get to. And it'll force me to move some of this stuff around. So these things we don't need. By moving this stuff around, it just makes it it's good. It's forcing me to make it different than the other ones. Let's get a bunch of crates. Let's get rid of some of the crates. Go a little bit more barrelish. So I can put this breakable crate. You can see the rings that tip me off that it's breakable. I can put that on top of the non-breakable one, because if you break it, then that's okay, as long as it's on top. You don't want the breakable one on the bottom, because then something on top of it just floats there. Looks goofy. It's over here. I don't know. There. Sure. It's over here. I'm just trying to make sure no one gets stuck. More barrels. Mix the types. So part of the reason why we mix the types is because maybe I always kind of want barrels sitting there for some reason. But if you break them, then what does that leave me? It leaves me with like some sort of weird unfinished area. So the breakable, non-breakable ones are great for world builders to ensure that there's something reasonable. Let's make this a little smaller. Different size barrels. I like to spin it, you see, because I don't want every barrel facing the same direction. It's a little silly. Oh, I didn't realize I had this black. I haven't been using it. It's kind of nice. So there's no grass right next to this thing. And then in the center of it, it's blackened. It uses a lot. Can we get a snowy reaper in Ulfheim? Do we have? We don't have a snowy reaper. Don't we just have the regular and swamp? We do have reapers in here. It'd be kind of cool to have snowy reapers. I'll have to ask about that. Okay, so if that's there, then we want to make sure that we also get this bag. I'm going to put it somewhere in the area. I could actually put it like inside one of these crates, and when you break it open, then you see that, but I don't want to be that sneaky about it. There's already kind of a lot going on, and we don't need to just overwhelm you with like extra nonsense. Let's have a break. Because there's heat over here, let's sort of melt some of this more. No, actually, this should be snow right there because it's kind of burying this stuff. Some other snow. Maybe we shouldn't have that snow. Oops, wrong one. Alright. Right, so they are no snowy reapers in the game, but I don't do that art stuff, so I don't know how easy it is to make a variant. It'd be pretty cool to have a variant that was a snowy reaper. But it should also match the trees in the area, so I need to make sure that I keep or include trees that are the same as the whatever version of Reaper will appear in this area. Alright, so we did pot. Let's do it over here now. So where's this cooking pot? Could be in somewhere. So where's like the main? I'll do this. So this is early in here, and at some point I'll come back and put decorations. And like I said, I'll do that. I'll probably put like a big stone piece on the floor, or maybe take these stones out and just put some sort of oven thing in there. I'm cheating on that one, just doing it super basic. I don't want to put pot right out in the open. It's kind of weird. So if the wolf is back there, let's go over here maybe. Yeah, let's. All right, now we're gonna have to decorate this thing. Move this cooking pot for now because I'm gonna keep clicking on that purple thing. It's gonna be annoying. All right. I do some weird stuff here. Kind of like these. I guess I'm using it as awnings. These tarps. And then I'm gonna take this last pole. Okay, which is in. How's that look? What's kind of interesting is that sometimes you won't really notice when things are wrong because you're not looking up or behind things or whatever. So I can get away with a lot of things. I try not to though. I like to think that at some point someone's going to take a screenshot of that thing and it's going to be shared and someone's going to I don't want anyone to see something that just really looks dumb when you give it a really good eye. Okay. I don't know about that one. Let's move that aside for now. course, the rule also applies here is that I want to make sure that there's space to move in and out and not blocking anything important here. Can I wedge this in here and that look okay? Whoops. Maybe not. Maybe this should be more like this. I'm very quiet, sorry. I don't know if this is going to do what I want. And we'll just do it like this. See how it goes. Gotta do some experiments sometimes. Now it says, I wish a rich person would come in chat and say, hey, sure, I don't want to invest 10 million so you can change the Unreal Engine. That'd be fine. I think, I don't know, I don't do the world building so much in Unreal, but I've done quests and abilities and things like that when I worked for DC Universe Online, so that was, I'd adapt. Griffith says, would you make a zone where all the trees are harvestable so we could do some global warming forest clearing in Soda? I don't know. Maybe. It was great in Ultima Online how like pretty much every tree was harvestable. I've been playing a lot of Rust lately. I don't know if you guys played Rust, but all the trees there are harvestable. It's kind of neat. Doing a save, so I'm kind of stuck. Alright, so from up top it looks okay. I don't think you get stuck in any of those spots. You can put an extra block of there. Actually, I could do that right now. I think. I don't know what I'll do. Oops. Once in a while, you just gotta make something that is just doesn't make sense if like with the natural terrain. So right now, I'm just making this uh, just a box that's sort of stretched out to keep people from falling through the cracks that are getting stuck. Uh, kind of roughly just sort of get the general shape of this thing. I don't think I need to care about the bottom one so much. So some people may walk up here and make it a little awkward for them, but it's not for you. Alright, so then anyone going on top is not going to get stuck. It may look like they're floating a little bit above some of the pieces, but it's a necessary evil. I like how he's going to make these awning things work. Oh, thanks. Hopefully they work. If they don't, I'll rip them out or simplify them, whatever. But I feel like they are something that can work in this space. So I'll put a couple here and there. Now let's go to this dude. I don't know why I say dude for everything that's something to click on. So right there is a chimney. Let me get it straight overhead. In case of smoke. Oops. So I'm going to leave the little rancid meat there. I don't really know what I'm going to do with it yet. Oh, at some point I'll be having, adding crates and barrels and stuff over here. Whatever it is I think they need for food. Maybe some animal furs on the ground, things like that. Maybe a table. This. That. Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay. Save it again. Need some whiskey jugs. Oh, yeah. Maybe they have like a still or something. I did talk about once before. Maybe there's crafting tables in here somewhere. I thought of a bunch of reasons why they could have a bunch of different ones, but I wouldn't want to really put more than 2 in here. Kind of like to put a crafting table up in one of these areas, I think, or maybe in this one side area. This is actually a hunting and preparation area, so I can see a butchery area down here. Actually, let's do that. I don't know what I just did. Oh, there you go. Project. I remember it's called Butcher Correct. A lot of times I'll grab stuff from another scene and then bring it to the place where I'm working on this stuff. So I never know where what I'm grabbing. So we're actually going to do that. Let's go. I don't know. I guess I need something biggish. Let me go to Airy for a second. What editor version do we use? It's a 2018 version. 2018.3.10 F1. Yes, 72 is saying I am muted, but I can actually hear it myself when I talk. In the chat. Is your volume up? Okay, it was you. Okay, good. I'm waiting for the scene to save before it switches to Airy. I don't know why I picked a big scene. I just figured there's got to be a butchery station in there somewhere. I want to make sure I don't pick one of the wrong ones. Like I said, I'm not fully familiar with. So sometimes we have multiple versions of certain things. Sometimes there's the non-interactive one and then the interactive one. Usually it's pretty obvious to see what the difference. Sometimes we have it split by region, so that there might be like the region 1 perennial coast version versus the region 10 Elysium version. It's probably not the case here, although I did see some numbers that made me think it might be related. Anyway, I'm looking for the term butcher. Maybe butcher was the wrong term. I guess it is the right term. Okay, so I was going to grab it from the wrong spot. Where am I? I was like to reorient myself. So if this is where the cooking is done, then it seems sensible to have like a butchery station in there somewhere. So let's just put that there for now. What else? Alright, so next up, where's this thing? So this can kind of go anywhere. This is, let me think a little bit before I do this. So it could go anywhere here as well. So let's say the first one, let's say by these trees. Somebody wants you to see it as soon as you come in. So we did it like right here. So even though this is a two-part gimmick, what is that? It's a two-part gimmick, but you can use your normal. You have to have like an axe on you, and if you don't have one on you, I want to make sure that you can just pick one up. So they have one nearby. And where would they put it? Maybe this dude has it next to his house. Gotta move around a little bit to get some of these things. Put it sideways, so if you come in here, which way you see. Profile the wolf, and then also kind of profile the axe. Yeah, that's good. So Grimace says, question, or question's working again. That's also a Chris thing. Chris has an extra, he's a programmer, so of course he's going to put in extra scripts and stuff to take care of things. I don't have that set up though. Unless somebody sets that up for me. I'm kind of stuck on it. But I mean, I'd rather just sort of check. We don't have a barrage of questions in there that I need to have some system that pushes the questions to a separate file, which is super handy when we do like the longer live streams on some Fridays after release, as of release. So that one was first. Downstairs, the valley could be anywhere. So here, let's say it's in the middle-ish, probably. I like the idea that it's also kind of visible as you're going around. So maybe. So you gotta go this way anyway, so maybe it's around here. Alright, let me think for a second. Yeah, I'll go here. So you're coming in either way, so let's sort of go with the profile concept. So it's like this, which means that you come in this way and you see the profile, or from over here probably you see the profile. Okay, so that works. Now we could put the tree stump somewhere, nothing too far. Just want it available if you need it. So if you add it and you look around, you can see the stump is here. Well, maybe I'll put it back a little further. There you go. Oh, is Chris actually here? Or is he logged in? Did not realize if that's the case. Chris is usually the one who logs in on the avatar account. Almost always, I guess. Alright, so let's go downstairs, as I said before. So the one up there is first. The one in the valley is toward the end, but on the way. So let's put this also middle-ish. Let's go on the left. I haven't done the left thing yet. I'm going to put it here. I want to make sure the wolf has space, the real wolf has space to move in. That's that, kind of middle-ish. Tree stump. Move it up here a little bit, so it's earlier. But you should see it. Alright, those are done. Alright, we have this learn wisdom kind of activity. So this is where there's these papers of a renowned barbarian philosopher, tactician. He's got some notes here and with his little paperweight on there so people can come reflect on it. But this would kind of be in whatever is kind of like a residence, I guess. I think. So if we keep these, I also have it unstuck. So maybe there's like a reflection tint. It's a little hidden, but not necessarily more hidden than the this in here. So maybe that's kind of a thing. Maybe there's like one inside in each. Scooby-Doo asked, "Morning, Sannio. What is the purple area?" The purple areas are a trigger volume. So sometimes for me it means that it can be clicked on, but often it means if a player is inside, if certain conditions are met, then it triggers something related to that thing. We just picked purple. Someone picked purple a long time ago, and we just sort of stuck with it. Kind of color code some things. Like cyan sort of became our special collision color. Sometimes yellow is a sound color. Blue might be water or something. Green is usually travel, teleporter. It helps with like scanning across the visuals. So that was kind of inside. We'll sort of rework that later. That's number one. Number two is not going to be inside. It'll be outside. But if that's a cooking one, then maybe we put in one of these. Maybe it's in this one. That's why these. That's why kind of why I made these sheds, because I knew they would be. They're not just anchors to the scene exclusively. They're also like a place to put things. And this is not a two-part thing, so that's convenient for me. I can do this, and that's why they're not intersecting. And this third one in here somewhere might be exposed. Except there's a lot of interiors. Maybe this also needs to be inside. Let me put in here. Maybe this is like some sort of scholar's house or something. Just kind of make it right in front of you. Since I'm here and I realize we got some of this grass going on, let's fix that. In fact, let's go into each house and see if there's any grass to get up. Yep. Sure, when I come back in to put some decorations in the houses, I'll fix a lot of that stuff, and I'll fix this kind of thing. I'm not going to worry about that right now so much. These houses I tried to pay special attention to and really look at the other ones. Alright, let me save again. Scooby-Doo, thanks for the bits. And if I missed anyone with bits, thanks. And also thanks to those who have their subscriptions going on. That's pretty cool. When Moon points out, looked like the question bot was left running, but Sannio still needs to know where the questions Google Doc is. Yeah, I could probably find the link to it. I wish I should save that link. But, I don't know, maybe I'm hitting up all the questions as they come up. Alright, what's this, the last one we got? The one I'm not too keen on. So this one is kind of destroying some sort of piece of art, which right now is just this. It's just that urn. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. So this can go anywhere. Maybe it'll go in the cave. We'll see. Depending upon the final art object, I might actually put it outside somewhere. Actually, I need to come back to this area and just rework it. Actually finalize the ground. I'm going to do that after I place these final pieces. That's what I'll do. I've decided. So this last piece, destroy art, can be inside somewhere, I said. We have that one inside. We have the key in here. Got that thing inside. The only other sort of inside place would be here, but this is like way off the beaten path and not so obvious. I guess it could go up here. I kind of like to keep it all at ground level though. Alright, so maybe whatever it is over here, and I fix this up a little bit. I kind of like these, but let's try. Scooby-Doo says, don't forget to load up the scene with cotton bushes. Oh, there'll be cotton bushes. I gotta step away for a second. Gotta get a drink. About to cough a lot. back. Screwed up something. It's oh. Sorry about going back and forth. Hopefully I'm not making anyone sick. I like to zip back and forth when I'm looking at things. This might be too much. Where's that? So this woman right here, she's an example of a scale of typical human. Hero was napping. Now he's up. What's up, Hero? What's with you? Is not the case just then where I selected the wrong thing? Selected the child instead of the parent container object. I don't know if they're custom. I guess they might be. If I press them, they will zero out the object. Yes, that's correct. The Crazy Phil has asked the P, R, and S buttons on the transform still custom. Do they zero out values or copy them? I'll show you some. I'll show you in a minute. Give you a little demo of that stuff. I don't really know what's custom so much. I didn't use Unity at all before I started working at Shroud the Avatar. I've done I don't want to say I've done any amount aside from Shroud the Avatar, but it's barely anything. So let's say I have a cube, and the cube right now. Oh, actually, let's make just a parent object. Put my cube inside my parent object. Right now, my cube is off-center from the parent object. And you can see the X, Y, and Z coordinates don't match up. And I could manually change them to something else. Oops. If I want to zero them out, I can manually zero them out, but I can press P and boop, it just pops right in the middle. Same thing if I rotated it. My rotations are a little off right here, and then boop. If you didn't know it, if you hover over the X, Y, and Z, you see how it turns the little left and right arrows? You can click and then drag, and it changes it. Click and drag. And then I press the S and it zeroes it out. If I right-click on transform, I can copy that, and I can then paste that transform onto another object. For example, like since I have it, I can paste values, and then it would overwrite the values of a second object. Like if I have the second cube, maybe I'm changing things here. Maybe I'm changing it in the game like this. Maybe I'm using this thing right there. So you can see the two cubes have different transforms. I'm going to copy the alternate transform, go back to my original one, paste the component values on top of that, and boop, they're both the same shape and same spot. And then one of the other thing I was doing, these aren't prefabs, but if it's a prefab, I can right click on X or Y and Z and revert to the original. So right here I can right here I can revert these numbers to the ones baked into the original prefab. I don't want to do that right now though, but I think you probably get the gist of it all. Where was that log? What did I do with that log? good. Oops. So the art will be under here for some reason. I'll probably get a table, I think. This is a table in the project. Get some visuals and just prefabs. So these are tables I have. You can see some tables are made sideways. Sometimes we fixed it. Sometimes we have to fix in the scene. Kind of annoying. Probably have to make a mental note to grab silverware for some of these houses, or woodenware. This is probably a good table. Put that there for now. It's a pretty basic table. Right there for now. No jacuzzis. Nothing super nice outside, I guess. I like this round table, maybe. Antique. Cobalt. Oh, that's the one. Pretty basic wood table. I don't know that my little thing works right here. It was just more out in the open. Bakes. Bakes again. Maybe that's kind of my visual identifier. So down here, and then where's the art over here that someone's working on? that in there. Key will be in there. He's got that. This guy's got, he's got that thing right next to him. So either the art thing is out in the open or it's in here. I'm going to put it in here. Grimmers points out, oh, how the tables have turned. Grimace. Alright, so those are the pieces. The 5 pieces. The default, like I said, is plus courage. Everything else lets you switch to the alternates that are other than plus courage. We need to get back down here, I think, and keep working with this. So I kind of had something going on over here. It's okay. I don't want to put too much, like I've said a couple times, I don't want to put too much clutter on the area. I guess these tents are fine where they are. Let's start rumpling up the ground. Maybe that'll also inspire me for certain things. Let's make that one. You know what? Let's do slide. So this is just sort of edging I'm making to sort of I've talked a couple of times about where the NPCs walk and how it's probably trampled down, so I'm just kind of like making some guesswork as to where they've been walking. And I'll also smooth this out when I'm done. It's easier to figure out when you got some props in there, like the tents. Like you know where to walk in and out of a tent. People walk behind tents sometimes. I do a lot of decorating like this, a lot of world building, terrain editing up here. There's a point to get down here though. Like if the player's like down here, that's the view. Even before it's playable, you need to sort of get down there and make sure that it's got a good look. Do a little smoothing. And I'll do some painting. Get a much better feel for the flow of this scene, of this section. Alright, let's switch to the greenery. So you guys hear my dog barking. Probably saw a cat outside or something. I'm getting confused by some of these some of the dirt paths I made. Let's simplify things a little bit. That's knock, by the way. That's what a knock looks like when I'm placing it. Yeah, I'm glad I did this greenery. So unless we're on the trail or inside somewhere, it's going to be this middle green, I guess. But we'll have to put a lot more dirt, I think. I think there's a lot more trampling that goes around down here. I can smooth that out over here. I'll smooth that out too. Yeah, I was missing a bunch of stuff. Back this. Let's do this one. Oops. Crazy Phil says, "Ha ha ha! My dog is confused now." And El Moon points out, "Are the little kids screaming or something?" Yeah, there's a pool nearby, and this kid's always like screaming, and the parents don't tell them to be quiet, so the kids just like squeal like crazy. It's funny that you can hear those kids. They get loud here for sure. Should make it more smooth than rumply. I'll worry about the rumples later. Bring this up a little bit. So I'm just getting the basic shapes. I guess there's three concepts going on. There's the slopes. I want to get to the edge because I'm looking ahead because I want to make them I want to make them look. Most of them look like this snow going up. So eventually it'll be snow. And then there's the flatter part of the trampled area, and then the everything else part. I don't like that little spot in there. Feels like you can get stuck in there. Won't be too tough to make it seem like a natural smooth area. Griffith says, "I'm surprised Hero doesn't bark at the kids more." He actually doesn't bark at the kids at all. He's kind of indifferent to kids, I guess. He'll bark at a dog around his size that walks past, and any cat that walks past, he will bark at. Aside from that, he's just kind of looking. He's just like looking at who is walking past the home. He barks when he disagrees with design decisions, says Anikitos. Maybe. He definitely barks to get me to do things, so it could be design related. He was barking when we were talking about the wolves before. Maybe he didn't like the wolves being part of things. Let's get down here a little bit. I don't think I screw anything up over here. That's good. Okay. Okay. I think in a second I might hit play mode just to see as I run around how it feels. Looking great, says Ragnar Lothbrok 2, and I say thanks. Of course, those won't be stuck on the ground when I'm done. Find a place for everything, or get rid of it if there's no place for it. Let's do a little tiny paint job on this dude. Not too much. switch my spotty one. That one. Alright, now I got a little bit of a better sense as to where people probably walk back and forth in this place. So Shep 311 says, are there any plans improving the bounty system? Maybe you have a certain boss and random map, kind of like how sieges are set up, but you would have to kill them, find them, kill them, and turn in the bounty. Or a tier system, how you bounty, you get certain rewards. I don't know of any plans to do anything like that, but Chris might be the one to ask about that. As far as I know, we don't have anything like that in mind, but it's possible. Crazy Phil says, maybe add some yellow runes in the snow somewhere. Wink. That's wink is me. He says JK. Just kidding. I don't know. I am the guy who likes to put bathrooms in the scenes. Like I put the Solspurge outskirts. There is the farmer, Fillmore. He's got an outhouse, and he goes to it, and he sits in it. He also brings a piece of paper in with him. Something to read. This is feeling better now. I still need some like random rocks and things, but this is getting better. This one is hard to get to, so maybe they actually walk around this way sometimes. I don't know about you guys, but I can still hear those kids. They are having a hoot nanny of a time. Where's that? No, there it goes. A little bit in the snow, call attention to itself a little bit. Alright. Crazy Phil says those kids are loud and clear. Heard an ice cream truck earlier too. Yeah. Viking snowman. Huh. What would be different about a Viking snowman? Maybe part of it would be brushed away and you'd see that there's an actual skeleton underneath, helping it keep its form. Oh, Phil points out the horn helmet. The horn helmet. Yeah. Although the Vikings didn't have horn helmets, but I guess our barbarians probably do. I'm gonna hit play. I'm gonna run around with the normal sky dome look and all that and see what goes on. It's gonna take a while for the play mode to kick in. Crazy Phil likes my idea of skeleton underneath, I guess. Underneath the snow. So I'll need to put in some just the fallen tree trunks, general bones, some housing decorations, So that'll be pretty easy. Housing decorations, they'll be more the same in the tree area. You know, there'll be skins, crates, some tables and chairs. Um, yeah. What else? I'll have to make sure that the trees in the tree house area have that sort of garland, whatever you call it, is not right. Oh, there we go. Something falling. I want to go this way. Can I turn off? No. Turn those off. Okay. It's locked up on my trying to open up this menu there. There we go. Oh. Oh, there we go. Okay. Alright, so come in, ignore these little triangle things. Take that. There's the note. Destroying all 3 precious totems will cause environmental turmoil in the final battle. Disrespecting the barbarians' beliefs will ultimately reduce your love reputation. So there you go. You got the tip off as to what's going on there. So now that I did that, I am blocked from doing the other activities. Let's go to the wolf cage. See, it says blocked keyhole when I mouse over. I don't know if you can see the mouse. Can you see the mouse? Yeah, blocked keyhole. So you can't do that. That wolf's stuck in there forever. And then let's go to the wisdom one. So we basically committed to the destroying the wolf totems. Barbarian scribbles. See, just says scribbles now. It said like barbarian wisdom or something before. It's a little too high. I gotta flatten some of this stuff a little bit. Let's speed it up a little bit. Alright, so now I'm in this area. Here's one of the totems. Or, side activities. Can't do anything with it. Irreplaceable barbarian art. Oh, this guy was able to spawn. Look at that. Mistreated wolf is what it says. That's the name, not abused. Mistreated. Blocked keyhole. Can't open it. He's out of luck. Barbarian scribbles. Alright, where was, no. Where was it? I don't remember. Oh, that's right, by the slope. There we go. Tips me off again, destroying all three. Make that change. Let me look at the chat. Game request is most likely too late, but she had a village section that's been covered by an avalanche is now unlivable. Yeah, it's a little too late for this. Oops. Move that thing out of the way, easily able to go in and out there. That's pretty good. That was a good decision before. Back up here, I gotta fix that landing target. So regarding the avalanche thing, we have something similar in upper tiers. I don't know if you've been there, where there's been a flood, and most of that area is unavailable. So there's, you can see some tops of buildings peeking out. It's all covered up. Griffer asks, when will this make it into live? I don't know. I kind of thought it would be done last release, but I keep getting pulled to do other things, and it's a little slower than I thought I was going to be. But so then I do this. Nope, there's no message. There was supposed to be a message. I'll have to check that out. What's up, Wolf? Oh, that's not angled right. That one's right. Okay, I gotta check on that boy. That one's right. Okay. So there you go. So far, that's what we got going on here. Trapped wolves. Things to break. Bag of rancid food. Brittle Ulfheim cage key. So brittle is the keyword that we use that means it's going to break every time. So you'll need to get one key for the valley wolf, one key for the treehouse wolf, and one key for the village wolf. Snug's one just maybe just coming in. Asked when is this going live? I don't know. I thought it was going to be live last release, but obviously I'm going a lot slower than I intended. Haven't even touched that stuff out there. But as soon as I can get it ready, I definitely have checked some stuff in, so some for safety. Like I mentioned earlier, that I hadn't been checking these changes in, so I was kind of a little dangerous in what I was doing. But it's checked in. Some stuff is checked in. When I say checked in, I don't want you to think this is live yet. It's not. It won't be live until it's done. So I will do all my stuff first, and then I'll be sharing it with Travis, who's List Rostov, and he will make some tweaks and or recommendations on what I should change, and then hopefully everyone on our team can play it first before we share it, and then that'll go to QA server. You guys will give your feedback, and then go live. So I don't know if that means a month. I don't know if that means 2 months. I wish I was faster. I'm kind of annoyed at myself that it's taking so long. But what do you do? It's a big change. Big change as far as the gameplay. All the resources that you love to be here, they'll still be here. You know, they'll be shuffled around, obviously, because the scene is different, but they'll still be here. Like if you liked all the cotton that was here, they'll be here. Will this scene produce snow? It'll be a normal sky gnome, which means snow can happen sometimes. There won't be like snow that you can scoop up, if that's part of what you're asking. There won't be any new snow mechanic. What else? Oh, I know what else I need to put in. I need to put in lights here and there. We got the light from there, but I think there should be maybe street lights even in some spots. Go to the village for a second, and let me look for. I don't remember the name of these things. We have these lights, street lights. Nope. Doesn't use the word street. Okay. Lantern. I spelled that wrong. Lantern. Slap of fingers. So kind of like this one that I've selected, but there is a. This might be the one I want. Props. I think that's the one we put there for now. We're just going to go with this one. Oops. So I like this one because it's got those designs in the side, and it's wood, and it feels like something that these guys might have. So some of these are going to be on. Some will be off. Maybe I'll have a different light for these guys. You could also do the this old trick. Right now they're both on. Let's make this one off. I like to have on and off ones because I don't want to have all the lights on. We don't need to have all the lights on. We just need to have a few on, and then some players actually like using it to indicate where they've been. Most dungeons I do on off kind of thing. Yeah, I don't like that right there. There. Maybe you don't even have one over there. I also kind of like to alternate sides of things. I like to have it like I don't want all my lights on against one wall. Again. Not too far, going over the road too much. Check the chat while I'm saving. Viking braziers. Oh yeah, I gotta put those here and there. Vic Cannon says evening, Sannio. Good evening to you as well. Catching up with the save. Probably be wrapping up in the next 10 minutes or so. Just gonna do more of the same. I'll get those. Look for some braziers to put down in the valley in the probably the treehouse area. And the save is taking forever. Sometimes it does. Sometimes when I hit save, it's got to do this check against the server repository. It's kind of annoying. It's the loons check. Oh, I thought it was done. Oh, done? Now? Nope. This editor teases. Hold on. Importing small assets. Oh, there we go. Talked last time about how sometimes some people make so that the pivot is important, and to have things sink in the ground is sometimes necessary. Sometimes somebody will build a little bit extra like they do here. It's not enough for my purposes, but that's okay. I don't mind shoving it down a little bit, but I do really appreciate when an artist adds in extra stuff, extra uh, extra part of the shape that for when you sink it into something. So Ragnar is asking, will you have doorways connecting the Viking homes to the palisade walkways? I will not. These are normal homes. I can't change them. They're built as like uh, the, the shell of the house is built as like one big piece. And I can't take it apart or punch a hole in it. So it'll just be. So this is a normal tower that has the holes in it, and then it'll just go to the wall like this, just wall to wall. I try to not clip through windows and such. I could have easily done that, but hopefully I didn't do it anywhere. Yeah. You'll be able to go up to some of them. I need to sort of fully work out the details of how you get out, because if you're back here, if for some reason you decide, nah, I'm done, I want to leave, you should be able to sort of get out without being trapped. So that door is closed by default, so you can go up the ladder and then out, and then you can run through here. that door will close. This door in front of us will close because you're in the battle royale. Like, oh no, but I want out. So you can go up here, and then probably jump off or something, and then keep going like that. So I want you to be able to get out without a hassle. Okay. Okay, so we got these braziers I'm going to be using. It's not that. It's not a big story about them, but we had a little story where they were actually fully integrated into this, and they can be separated. And I had asked for them to be separated so I could use them in cases like this. And it was done, and I was super happy. Let me see. Maybe each tent gets a brazier nearby. That's not right next to it. Don't want to burn it down. So that one's off. This one's on. Oops. Did move it wire. Kink it a little bit. Another off one over here. Actually, let me put the off one here. Another on one here. So it'll be off, on, off, on. Probably put some inside some of these, like in here. There's one here. It's an on. He doesn't need one. Maybe they'll have one back here, and that's an on. Ragnar, thanks for the bits. Snugs wants it, meow. It's an on one. Let's put on one kind of here by the entrance. Oh, that's going to open up. So let's put it here. Maybe, I don't know, somewhere around there. Maybe there'll be one out here too to help you figure out where it is. As you come in here, maybe they have some of these here and there. One by the entrance makes a lot of sense. Maybe there. No, like that. Yeah, we'll leave it there. Let's see what happens. That's too angled. These off. On one. I'm going to have to flatten out some of these spots so it makes more sense. When is List Dungeon going live? I don't know. You have to check with him. I'm not sure where he is on his. And thanks for the bits. Snugs asks, what adventure level will this be? Uh, the main area will still be 5+, which means you'll have like, or what do we call this? 8+. I mean, this is what it is right now. So the main guys will be level 8 in the forest area, and it'll start level 8 when you're in here, but then it'll switch to level 10 or tier 10. But the tier 10, when I say tier 8 and tier 10 inside the barbarian area, it'll actually feel, it should feel a little tougher because it won't be like 2 or 3 guys next to each other. There'll be like higher quantities of guys next to each other. So hopefully it feels tough and you feel threatened. And I think the boss at the end is like 15 or something. And I mentioned before, but the Beezus made me a slightly special boss barbarian who's like a little bit bigger than the rest. It's always nice when the boss stands out from his minions. So these ones back here will be off by default because I don't want to catch your attention too much. What else? Is this an extra one? So that over here, that's an off one. And let's put an on one. Oh, I got a lamp over there. Put another one over here. Lots of spawn, yeah. I would like the counts to be high. Not necessarily the open area. Open area should feel like normal adventure scene, although the bad guys will be tier 8 instead of tier 5. But I would like it to be high tier plus dense in the further in you go. The farther in, the deeper into the scene, the more challenging it should be. That's my goal. Okay, I'm gonna start it up again. I'm gonna check some different lighting levels. Challenge is important, says Ragnar. Yeah, that's a big part of this for me, is to have something that the most accomplished players would have a tough time fighting. But I also don't want to screw up players who have been coming here. So that's why, when you come in, it should roughly feel the same for any new player. But if you push in harder, then it pushes back harder. Now we gotta wait a while for the play mode to kick in. So before we got to see it in sort of like a normal daylight kind of thing, but I want to, since we just put in some lights. Oh, thanks for the bits. And also let's do this. What was I looking for? Maximize. So I've accidentally, well, I guess it's raining and it's at night, so there's a very different view right here. So these are all on, but they're not supposed to be. It's kind of annoying. Some should be on, some should be off. Let's check that. Let me make a note for myself. Okay. Let me go super speed again. Let's go up here. Obviously, there's some labels like that says treehouses right there that won't be in the final version. It's just set up to show up in the editor so I can help figure out what I'm doing. Let's test this wolf. This wolf was not going to work. I'm going to test it anyway. Let's get this key. Can I get it? Oh, you can only have one at a time. That's right. Alright, so I already have one. Let's choose time of day. What's up, wolf? Give me a sec. Yeah, it's not going to work because I need to rebuild the path grid, but I'm not going to do that until everything's done. Just writing a note for myself. You say boo for rain, Ragnar, but the rain has stopped, so it's all good in the end. Let's try a different time. It's not going to work either, I bet. Oh, there you go. Don't look at my... Let's see what this area looks like. I see these are working right. Some are off, some are on. I'll have to double check that other brazier. Yeah. Alright, so I think that's all we got today, everyone. Right now you're asked about snow only or sleet only weather. We don't have a lot of weather variety as far as like what we can force onto an area. We like to have it cycle. Once in a while we'll sort of, like Battle Souls Bridge, we, uh, behind the scenes the time of day kind of changes somewhere, but as far as any player in that scene is concerned, it's sort of like a midday kind of thing. And we also have a what we call a war-torn sky for like some, where do we have it? Quell Sharkfall might have one. Highvale, Battle Highvale, I think, has it. So, anyway. Alright, so I'm going to sign off here. I want to thank everyone for your bits and your questions and your attention. And I hope to see you again next time. Of course, I show up at all the Friday live streams, but every once in a while I'll show up now again in some of the other ones. And before we go, we gotta do the raid. Let's see who's on, if anybody's on. Of course, there's people on. I gotta check to make sure the person's actually playing. Because I did raid somebody once where the person had stepped away. I'm just gonna wait for something to finish. Alright, I'm gonna go to first on the list. I'm gonna go to famines. Alright, so thanks again, everyone. Let's see if I get this raid thing right. Alright. So, thanks again. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you again next time.
But it seems to work pretty good so far. This was easy.